Hello. So there was a new press conference tonight. It was an important one in which the Prime Minister and his ministers announced new measures and a sharpening of the current policy. Um, it's a long one. I'm going to translate it all for those interested. Uh, just keep watching. Thank you. Good to see you all. It's important to update you. Good that you are taking the 1.5 distance into account to the journalists. He's saying this. I want to make two remarks before I give the word to my colleagues. First of all, just now within the Crisis Commission, we stood still to look at the situation, especially in hospitals. Probably everyone has seen that in the south this weekend there has been hard work and the situation got dangerous, tricky. Therefore, it's important that patients from the south will be brought to other hospitals in different places in the country. There's been hard work going into doing that. It's a complicated operation. It's only possible because there is a good cooperation between all the hospitals in the country. People are working hard, and I want to give them my appreciation. Also for all the societal initiatives that help relieve everything in a different way. For example, today the news about two big hotel chains. They are going to provide corona care centers for patients who are too good for the hospital but still can't go home. Hugo de Jonge and Marten van Rijn and other ministers are going to talk to you about that, but already I want to say that all those heroes and the helpers in care, they can expect that while they are working, we are all taking the rules into account. In any way, the rule to keep 1.5 meters distance. And that's my second remark, because since 1 week, we agreed limit the amount of social contact and keep 1.5 meter distance towards each other. It means go outside for work if you can't work at home. If you can work at home, stay at home. Of course, you can go out for groceries, taking a walk or caring for another person, but don't do that in groups. And it also goes for group activities. Don't do it. Those are the agreements. Past week. Another time to all the young people that are watching. Don't think it will be fine. When I get ill, the chance of getting extremely ill is smaller. Maybe it's the case, but also you are at risk. And what if you get ill? What if you get infected, but you don't get very ill? I sincerely hope that's the case for you. But even though you can infect other people, and that can be older people. So what annoyed me extremely were all the images in the newspapers and on the news were the young people saying, I am not that worried. No, probably not for you, but you are not living just for you. We are living here with 17 million people in this country. So do it then for the elderly or the people with a weak health who do have a risk. If you would infect them, a much bigger risk than you probably think you would have. You are in. Most of us are taking the rules into account. The most people, the majority. And I don't know how you are doing, But when you see the empty streets and the highways and the perrons, train stations, I think the message is clear to a lot of people. Fortunately, and it's great. It's important that we do that all together. But unfortunately, it doesn't go for everyone. And my mind just is dazzled when I see the images of the beaches, people on parking places where they bump into each other. There are even fuck corona parties. That is not okay. It has to stop. So therefore, we agree to sharpen the already existing measures. And with that, to come as close as we can to the maximum effect of the measures. Because the purpose is and will stay the protection of the elderly and vulnerable people. And at the same time, prevent that the healthcare system will get too much burdened. Therefore, we have to make sure hospitals have enough capacity, also in the intensive care departments, so that everyone can get the care he or she needs. For in addition to the sharpening of the policy, I give the word to Minister Grapperhaus. He is the Minister of Safety and Justice. Criminal justice. Thank you, dear people. Also me. I want to first compliment the majority of the people of Holland that takes the rule into account. I cannot emphasize that enough. This is extreme, but in this time, the key to our common success as a society is within our own behavior. And most of the people understand that. Like the Prime Minister said, you see in a lot of places empty streets, empty train stations. But last weekend, the police had to come to send people away at some places because they were with too many people gathering in an unsafe way. And I'm gonna say this in a tough way. It's messy, laconique. Yeah, laconique is sort of indifferent, but in a sort of arrogant way, too nonchalant way to. Okay, so it's a too indifferent way to handle this situation. It costs lives. Unnecessary. To those people, I say, use your common social sense. As less as possible, go outside. Only go outside for work if you can't work at home or when you have a vital profession. And if you have to provide in your first needs, like grocery shopping, but do it alone and not with the whole family or a group. And do it at a time that the store is quiet and still organized. Only then it's possible to keep that distance of 1.5 meters. If next to that you want to go outside for a fresh nose, fresh air, do it as much as possible by yourself and absolutely not in groups. Keep 1.5 meters distance all the time and stay away from social activity and groups of people. And at home, At most, 3 people visiting. At most. And only if you can provide for all of them space. So the 1.5 meters distance. Only if you can take that into account, 3 visitors. And do it also for your own health. But if you think, then do it for the health of the vulnerable in our society. The sick, the elderly, those are the people we have to protect. Therefore, we are doing this policy. Therefore, we decided on this policy. And we have to be able to do that with all of us together. Come on, he's saying basically. So we decided to sharpen the already existing measurements to make sure that we can obtain them the best. 3 things. I'm going to say them in short first, and then I'm going to provide a thorough account of them. First of all the gatherings, events are forbidden until the 1st of June, and there is no border anymore of 100 people. Second of all, we are making sure that mayors in their own region are provided with the means to obtain the measurements. And the third, we're going to work with fines. Okay, first of all, the events, the gatherings. As of now, the deadline was April 6. From now on, it's June, and there's no limit anymore of 100 persons. It means that all gatherings are forbidden. All gatherings till June the 1st. For funerals and church weddings, there is a limited exception. But because of the time, I will not emphasize on this right now. Not elaborate. I realize that for a lot of people, this is extreme. Especially in a time like this, you're looking forward to certain organized or unorganized gatherings. But if we want to be able to control the coronavirus, we don't have a choice. And at this point, we need to discipline ourselves. And therefore, I'm coming to the handhaving. I have to Google that, even though it's quite clear. What he means is handhaving, that the police is making sure that you actually do it. Enforcement. Because I already said it. You are making us do so by your behavior. The existing measures, we need to enforce them. Mayors are getting an emergency permission. It's a word in Dutch, noodverordening, to act up when things go wrong. 3 categories: location, group gathering, and shops. First of all, the locations. Mayors can close certain locations. For example, beaches, parks, or campings. That forced closing can happen when the mayor decides that the locations haven't taken enough measurements, haven't taken the rules into account. For example, that they don't allow people to keep distance toward each other. For markets, there's a separate rule because markets sometimes are essential to the food chain. Councils and markets locally need to agree together, also to make sure that the distance between visitors of the market is possible. And if they don't work, then again we can close the market. Then shops. The Ministry of Economics and Climate has made an additional agreement to shops so that everyone in the shop can keep at a safe distance. But there are also rules for customers so that also they know what they have to do. Those agreements will hang on the shops, at stores, doors, so that you know exactly what to do. Also, if shops don't do any of this, then they can door policy, maybe from the mayor. Oh yeah, they can be obligated to do a door policy. But also I want to compliment some shops, they are already doing great. And shops who don't do what we ask can be closed by the mayor. Group forming. Mayors will be allowed in specific locations, like neighborhood centers, parks, beaches, to forbid gatherings. Group forming means 3 people do not take the 1.5 meters into account, and then it only goes for people who are not members of the same household. An important exception, young children can still play together outside. National Health Institute emphasizes that there's no danger for the national health. But also, parents, please then use your account as well, your mind. The third measure, we can give you fines. And they can be strong if you cross the rules. Shops that do not take a door policy into account, for example, but also people who don't take the distance into account, and gathering groups. And I can tell you for sure, for Holland, those will be strong fines, so high fines. Instructions. All the measures that the cabinet are taking are there to make sure that the care stays alive and to protect the elderly and weak. Therefore, the past week, we already decided on severe measures, and now we are adding and sharpening. The outbreak management team advised us that the measure of home quarantine needs to be stronger. Because we can't test everybody. If one member of the household has a fever, all the members of the household stay at home. Only for people with vital professions there's an exemption. If you don't have a fever, you can go out for the groceries, but only if it is really necessary and if no one else can do it for you. If one member of the household has a fever, all the members stay at home. The outbreak management team also advised us on contact professions. They mean hairdressers, nail, beauty salons. They have to close. For others, like therapists, paranormal people that have clients, do it online. This is the advice of doctors, and we are following their advice. New measures to protect the vulnerable people, but also to make sure that the care can still handle the situation. And that it's needed, I saw in the hospitals in the south the past weekend. I saw that everybody is working extremely hard with a lot of professionality and dedication. I'm sorry. The work is organized in a very different way, everything to be able to handle the stream of patients. And what their call is, do not underestimate this. The seriousness and the speed and the impact of the virus, they ask to be taken seriously. Especially therefore, it's important to take the measures seriously. The virus is not spreading itself, people are spreading the virus. Their call is also be prepared for the fast growth of the amount of patients. We have to take this call of the hospitals in the south very seriously. We are doing everything we can to make sure that we do what's necessary. This weekend, the hospitals, together with the army, transferred patients from the south to other hospitals. That gave some air to the hospitals there and to all the people that are working so incredibly hard. And it turned out to be important to do that in a coordinated way, structured way. So today we started with a national center that will take care of the logistics of transferring patients. Also, what's needed is to make sure we have more intensive care capacity. And also the beds in different departments than the intensive care. Minister Van Rijn. We will give more attention to the capacity of hospitals. Why? Because the capacity as of now on the intensive care is bigger than we need for corona patients at the moment, but we are at the beginning of the evolution of that. Therefore, with everybody and everyone, we are working to create more beds on the intensive care. First of all, to ICT-boxen. Dat doen we door een aantal maatregelen. Enerzijds om bestaande IC-boxen die op de ziekenhuizen aanwezig zijn in te zetten, maar die normaal gesproken intensive care equipment that is not being used, they will now be used. Operational rooms for respiratory going to be used. There are going to be extra respiratory machines. We buy them and we get them. We ordered 2,000 dependent upon logistical problems of foreign countries. We will get them, but when it's not clear, we are going to go as far as we can with buying them. Also we want to get them from independent clinics. And together with the business world, we want to make the capacity of respiratory machines grow. It's our top priority for the coming weeks and months. Everyone and everything is, nothing is spared to make sure of this, but the care personnel in care are doing the most. In the short time that I'm minister, there's an incredible action from the caretakers. We can appreciate that by applauding a lot for them, but also to make sure that we do whatever we can to limit the stream of the infection. We all can contribute to that by keeping up the rules. Thank you.
Dank u wel. Dan gaan we nu starten met de vragen. Ik wil allereerst de vraag aan minister Grapperhaus, want die moet weg.
And then they ask questions, but the first one could be relevant because it's about the gatherings. She asks, what does it mean for schools and cafes and restaurants? He's saying horeca is still closed, and schools, they are going to decide on that after the 6th of April. She's saying also those are gatherings, so why? Isn't that weird to make an exception for schools?
En hier hebben we het, ik kan u de definitie helemaal voorlezen over openbare samenkomsten en vermakelijkheden als bedoeld in artikel 174 van de gemeentewet. Samenkomsten in voor het publiek, openstaande gebouwen en daarbij behorende erven.
He's reading a law definition of gatherings, and according to him, schools have their own rules. As far as the rules will change after the 6th of April, we will speak about that.
Dit gaat met weer op dezelfde manier gaat in de loop van vanavond in.
Okay. The rules start tonight. So, I hope you understand what it means. I still think a lot should be made a bit more clear, like what is a gathering, and also when we'll be able to have a drink again on a terras. It's the big lines, of course, now. So we'll see what it means in detail, and first just get our heads around it, I guess. Thank you for watching again. It was a long one, so if you see this, you were probably interested in all they had to say. If you like this, please let me know, because I'm not sure if I should keep going with this. So if you show your appreciation, it will mean for me that I am totally cool with going on. Only if it's useful, of course. So I thank you for watching, and bye bye.